Have you ever felt that there's something beyond what your eyes can see, something that pulses beneath the surface of ordinary life? Imagine a man who not only believed in this, but lived between worlds, uncovering secrets as ancient as time itself, guarding them as one protects a living flame in the heart of darkness. He saw in the monotony of daily life a key, an opportunity to transform the mundane into the sacred, the ordinary into the extraordinary. That man was George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. A philosopher, mystic, and teacher, Gurdjieff offered the world a unique approach to self-discovery that defied conventional traditions and opened doors to profound dimensions of the human soul. His fourth way proposed a harmonious integration of body, mind, and spirit, leading to what he called self-remembering. In this video, we will explore his origins, the mystical influences that shaped his vision, and how he translated this knowledge into concrete practices, such as the enigmatic sacred dances and the use of the Enneagram. More than a biography, this is an invitation to reflect on the latent potential within each of us. And so, with one foot in history and the other in mystery, we dive into the life and teachings of Gurdjieff, unraveling the spiritual alchemy of one of the most intriguing masters of the 20th century. George Ivanovich Gurdjieff was born in Armenia, amidst a landscape where towering mountains stood like sentinels of time. Late 19th century Armenia was a cultural and religious mosaic, a meeting point between East and West. It was in this environment that young Gurdjieff grew up, listening to stories that were not mere narratives, but keys to profound mysteries. His father, a traditional storyteller, planted the first seeds of his curiosity about the unknown. From an early age, Gurdjieff displayed a restlessness that set him apart from the ordinary. Fascinated by questions without simple answers, he sought to understand the essence of human existence. The world seemed charged with hidden meaning, and he was determined to decipher it. Driven by this thirst for knowledge, he began to travel, first through his native land, and later to distant regions. His journeys took him to places as varied as hidden temples in Central Asia and lost libraries in the Middle East. Each journey was a piece of a larger puzzle, a quest that transcended mere academic learning. He sought to touch the core of spiritual knowledge, the kind that could not be found in books, but in the living practices of ancient brotherhoods and near-extinct traditions. During this time, Gurdjieff began encountering masters and schools that preserved ancestral wisdom. These meetings were not accidental. They seemed like answers to an inner search, guided by something greater. It was during these encounters that he first heard whispers of a secret brotherhood, guardians of knowledge capable of transforming the human being from within. This phase of his life marked the beginning of the creation of his unique philosophy, a method he would later call the Fourth Way. Unlike traditional approaches, the path of the monk, the fakir, or the yogi, the Fourth Way sought to integrate practical life with spiritual pursuit. Gurdjieff believed that self-knowledge could only flourish in the real world amidst the challenges and tensions of everyday existence. However, the quest was far from over. For every answer he found, new questions arose. He was drawing closer to the heart of something vast and mysterious, something that would change him forever. Gurdjieff's journeys were not merely geographic, they were profound expeditions into the unknown, delving into the mysteries of the human spirit. During his explorations in the East, he finally encountered what he had been seeking for so long: a secret brotherhood, guardians of an ancient knowledge that had endured through the centuries, like an invisible thread weaving together lost wisdoms. Accounts suggest that he found this brotherhood somewhere in the mountains of Central Asia or in the remote regions of the Middle East. For Gurdjieff, this was not just a meeting but a transformative milestone. The brotherhood offered him more than answers. It provided something far greater, a way of living, a practical method that harmonized the spiritual, physical, and emotional aspects of life into a unified whole. The masters of this brotherhood believed that humanity lived in a state of sleep, a kind of automatism where the true essence of a person lay dormant. The purpose of the knowledge they preserved was to awaken individuals, liberating them from illusions and connecting them to their highest potential. It was under this profound influence that Gurdjieff began to shape what would later become known as the Fourth Way. The Fourth Way was not a closed system, but a dynamic set of practices designed to be integrated into daily life. Unlike other spiritual paths that demanded isolation or renunciation, the fourth way offered the possibility of growth within the fabric of ordinary life, amidst the demands and distractions of the everyday world. This learning did not come easily. Gurdjieff is said to have spent years immersed in the teachings of this brotherhood, absorbing their concepts, participating in their rituals, and undergoing methods that tested the limits of both body and mind. It was during this period that he began to grasp the importance of practices such as self-remembering, the relentless effort to remain present, aware, and fully awake in the moment. Emerging from his time with the Brotherhood, Gurdjieff did not simply return as a follower, but as a custodian of a tradition reimagined for the needs of the modern world. From that point onward, he began to shape his own approach, a fusion of ancient secrets and his unique vision of human awakening. This encounter with the secret brotherhood became the foundation upon which Gurdjieff would build his life's work. Now the time had come to share this transformative knowledge with the world. When Gurdjieff returned from his journeys, he was no longer just a seeker. He had become a master. Convinced that the teachings he had acquired needed to be adapted to the modern world, he began to disseminate his vision. The culmination of this effort was the establishment of the Institute for the Harmonious Development of Man, a space where body, mind, and soul could be cultivated together to achieve a state of balance. Founded in 1922 in Fontainebleau, France, the Institute was not a conventional school. Here, students did not learn through lectures or readings, but through direct experience. The practices included intense physical labor, such as farming and construction, which pushed physical limits and awakened a new awareness of the body. Additionally, there were sacred dances, music, and deep studies exploring the workings of the mind and human emotions. Everything was meticulously designed to break automatic habits and bring individuals to a state of presence. Among the first students was Pyotr Uspensky, a renowned Russian philosopher who would become one of the foremost disseminators of the Fourth Way. Fascinated by the depth of Gurdjieff's system, Uspensky detailed his experiences, helping to spread the master's teachings across Europe. However, the relationship between the two was not always harmonious. Uspensky, being more rational and methodical, often clashed with Gurdjieff's intuitive and provocative approach, which favored throwing students into challenging situations to provoke awakening. Gurdjieff's methods were as unique as he was. He believed real learning occurred only when individuals were pushed out of their comfort zones. To achieve this, he created unpredictable situations that forced his disciples to react consciously. One of the most famous anecdotes recounts how he would assign a group of students a task, only to abruptly change the instructions midway, compelling them to adapt and reflect on their own emotional states. The Institute quickly garnered attention, but also sparked controversy. For some, it was a spiritual revolution. For others, it was a dangerous eccentricity. Gurdjieff, however, remained undeterred. He knew his methods were challenging, but believed that true awakening could not occur without effort. To him, each student was like an uncut stone that needed to be polished through the friction of experience. The Institute for the Harmonious Development of Man was not merely a place of learning. It was a laboratory for inner transformation. And while the world around it plunged into crises, Gurdjieff's disciples were learning to connect with something deeper, something more enduring. As Gurdjieff consolidated his teachings and began to attract disciples, the political landscape in Russia grew increasingly turbulent. The Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 erupted like a storm, reshaping the country's fabric and forcing many to flee for safety. Gurdjieff was no exception. With the collapse of the old order, he and his followers had to leave everything behind, embarking on a pilgrimage that would test both his teachings and the resilience of his students. This journey through the Caucasus and other war-torn regions was not merely a physical escape, but also a profound spiritual trial. For Gurdjieff, the adversities of real life were the perfect stage for the practical application of his Fourth Way. As conflict and scarcity pushed everyone to the brink of despair, he continued to teach self-remembering, challenging his disciples to maintain presence and clarity amid the chaos. During the pilgrimage, Gurdjieff established itinerant study groups, gathering people willing to learn and apply his methods even under extreme conditions. These small communities became living laboratories for his system, where physical survival and spiritual quest intertwined deeply. Exhausting manual labor alternated with mental and emotional exercises, creating an environment where students were pushed to transcend their limits. Along the way, Gurdjieff exhibited an almost otherworldly leadership. Stories of his commanding presence and his ability to inspire hope in moments of despair circulated among his followers. He had a unique talent for transforming any situation, no matter how challenging, into a learning opportunity. After years of displacement, Gurdjieff eventually found a new base in France, where he would resume his work. However, the experience of the pilgrimage left a profound mark on his approach. He had witnessed the human potential under extreme pressure, and these lessons were reflected in his future teachings. This phase of Gurdjieff's life was not merely a test of survival, but also a validation that the Fourth Way was not an abstract philosophy, but a living practice capable of withstanding the most destructive forces in the world. It was proof that, even in the harshest circumstances, awakening was possible for those willing to fight for it. When Gurdjieff finally settled in France, he brought with him not only his accumulated experiences, but also a renewed energy to share his teachings. In Fontainebleau, he found the perfect setting to turn his vision into reality. The Château du Prieuré became the new home of the Institute for the Harmonious Development of Man, a space where his challenging and revolutionary methods could flourish. There, Gurdjieff dedicated himself to teaching what he considered the core of his philosophy, the necessity of awakening from mechanical living. To him, most people lived like machines, trapped in repetitive unconscious patterns. The practice of self-remembering was the key to breaking free from this state. He encouraged his students to cultivate constant presence, a heightened state of awareness, where every action and thought was infused with consciousness. At the Institute, daily activities were elevated to spiritual practices. Tasks like gardening and cooking were not mere chores. They were meticulously designed exercises to cultivate mindfulness. This integration of the physical and spiritual was what made the Fourth Way unique. Unlike ascetic or monastic practices, it offered a method that thrived amidst the pressures of the real world. In addition to these everyday practices, Gurdjieff introduced sacred dances or movements as a powerful tool for self-development. These intricate choreographies, often performed in geometric patterns, demanded precise coordination of body, mind, and emotion. They were a living metaphor for the universe, with its laws and intricate harmonies, and served to teach students how to align their energies with the greater forces governing existence. Gurdjieff also stressed the importance of conscious friction, the deliberate confrontation with challenges and discomforts to stimulate inner growth. He created unexpected and sometimes disconcerting situations, forcing his students to confront their automatic behaviors and learn to respond with awareness and adaptability. The concept of balance was central to his teachings. Gurdjieff believed that humans needed to develop their three main centers, physical, emotional, and intellectual, in harmony. Any imbalance would result in spiritual stagnation. The Fourth Way offered an integrated approach, fostering the simultaneous evolution of these aspects. As the Institute gained recognition, Gurdjieff began attracting a broader audience, including renowned artists, writers, and intellectuals. His teachings transcended the confines of the Institute, profoundly influencing the spiritual and cultural thought of the time. To many, he was a living enigma, a master whose presence challenged conventional notions of spirituality. It was in Fontainebleau that Gurdjieff solidified his mission to offer the world not just a philosophy, but a practical path to awakening, accessible to anyone willing to undertake the journey within. The sacred dances, or movements, were among the most striking expressions of Gurdjieff's system. To him, these choreographies were not merely physical exercises, but instruments of spiritual transformation. Each gesture, each step, carried profound meaning, turning the human body into a tool for communicating with the cosmos. These dances were inspired by geometric patterns found in nature and ancient traditions that Gurdjieff had studied during his travels. He believed the movements had the power to realign the practitioner's internal energy, harmonizing body, mind, and emotion. During sessions, participants were challenged to perform precise gestures while maintaining a state of full attention, helping them break free from unconscious habits. One of the most fascinating aspects of the movements was their relationship with music. Gurdjieff collaborated with composer Thomas de Hartmann to create musical pieces specifically designed for the dances. These deeply emotive compositions reflected rhythms and tones intended to evoke specific inner states in the practitioners. The music was not merely a backdrop, but an integral part of the experience, perfectly synchronized with the patterns of the dances. These practices impacted not only the participants, but also the audiences who witnessed them. Public performances of the movements left audiences awestruck and intrigued, stirring curiosity about the spiritual mysteries Gurdjieff seemed to channel. For many, watching the dances was a transformative experience, a glimpse into the transcendent potential of humanity. The cultural impact of the sacred dances was significant, influencing not only spirituality, but also art and performance. Modern choreographers, musicians, and artists found inspiration in the movements. Gurdjieff's dances symbolized a bridge between the physical and the metaphysical, between artistic expression and spiritual pursuit. Through the sacred dances, Gurdjieff left a legacy that transcended his system. They continue to be practiced and studied to this day, not just as a mystical art form, but as a tool for awakening consciousness. For those dedicated to these movements, each dance is a journey, a step closer to balance and self-understanding. Among Gurdjieff's many legacies, the Enneagram stands out as one of his most enigmatic and impactful contributions. This symbol, composed of a circle and 9 points interconnected by lines, was presented by him as a profound tool for self-knowledge and understanding the universal laws governing existence. Gurdjieff never explained the Enneagram in terms of personality typologies, as it is commonly known today. For him, the Enneagram was far more than a psychological map. It was a dynamic representation of the laws that govern the cosmos and human evolution. Each point and line within the symbol served as a key to deciphering internal and external processes, as if the Enneagram were a universal language linking the rhythms of the universe to the inner movements of the human being. In the fourth way, Gurdjieff used the Enneagram to illustrate how repetitive patterns dominated human life. He taught that by understanding the position of an experience or process within the Enneagram, one could consciously intervene to transcend automatic cycles. The symbol was a living metaphor for the interdependence of existence's elements, a visual synthesis of balance and transformation. Gurdjieff introduced the Enneagram to the West at a time when the world was seeking new approaches to understanding the mind and spirit. Although he maintained an air of mystery about its exact origins, the symbol took on a life of its own, later being interpreted and expanded in various contexts, including psychology and human development. The structure of the Enneagram, with its intricate interconnections, resonated deeply with those seeking to integrate science, spirituality, and philosophy. Its impact was so profound that decades later, the Enneagram became a widely used tool for exploring personality traits and behavioral patterns, helping people see their strengths and limitations more clearly. However, for Gurdjieff, the true power of the Enneagram lay not merely in its practical applications, but in its ability to awaken a new way of thinking, feeling, and acting. He believed that understanding the Enneagram was akin to unlocking the code of existence, an essential step for those striving for self-development. By bringing the Enneagram to the West, Gurdjieff did more than introduce a symbol. He opened a door to a new way of understanding the universe and humanity's place within it. To this day, the Enneagram remains one of the pillars of his legacy, a tool as enigmatic as it is powerful for those who dare to explore its mysteries. George Ivanovich Gurdjieff was a master of paradox, a man who spoke of awakening while walking through a sleeping world, who wove ancient wisdom into modern life, and who challenged his followers to find themselves amidst chaos. His fourth way remains an invitation, not to escape life, but to live it with an intensity and awareness rarely explored. Gurdjieff's teachings, with their emphasis on the balance between body, mind, and emotion, are as relevant today as they were in his time. In a world marked by haste, distraction, and superficiality, he reminds us that true transformation begins within. The practice of self-remembering, the sacred dances, the Enneagram, and his reflections on human nature continue to resonate as guides for those seeking a deeper meaning in existence. More than a philosopher or mystic, Gurdjieff was a provocateur, a master who challenges us to question the apparent reality and seek what lies beyond the visible. He invites us to confront the illusions that keep us bound and to explore the mysteries that make us truly human. And now, the journey doesn't have to end here. This narrative is only a doorway. The Enneagram, Gurdjieff's works, and groups dedicated to the fourth way offer countless opportunities to delve deeper into his teachings. For those who dare to explore, Gurdjieff's world is vast, challenging, and profoundly transformative. So if something in this account has sparked your curiosity, take the next step. Read his books, try his practices, question his ideas. Because, as Gurdjieff taught us, awakening is not a destination. It is a continuous journey of discovery and remembering who we truly are. The path lies before you. The choice is yours. Enjoying this journey of discovery? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more captivating insights into spirituality, philosophy, and the mysteries of the human soul. Your support helps us bring more inspiring content your way. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest releases.